All right, here we are on April 2nd, very late at night, and Hugh just posted like 12 new drops that just came down here in the last, I don't know, 20 minutes or so. So thought I'd come up here, have a couple busy days, probably won't be able to post much at all, so thought I would go ahead and do it tonight before I hit the sack here. But hey, kind of exciting things with just some more drops. For those of you who don't know much about Cueanon, you can follow me by going to Cueanon.pub, Cueanon.pub. So we'll get rolling here. I'm going to put my background back on. And that is again, Cueanon murder, follow Bolton, were some of the two major takeaways I got from this. So let's dig into them right now. So if you look at this right now, here you got March 28th. We already reviewed these two. So here's another one that looks like it was just some types of testing that he's getting on, making sure that the trip code's working, etc. So nothing really there. The second one is digging into all the how was your Easter and Anon ask here. And you can see this. And again, you can follow me on Cueanon.pub, Cueanon.pub, P-U-B. I encourage you to be able to lurk at this and search yourself. You can filter, search all these posts. But this one, Anon asked, how was your Easter, Q? And he says, we had a good laugh. And it was talking about how they tried to make, the media went crazy trying to make Cueanon a conspiracy theory, right? So I learned how to pronounce that right for those of you who corrected me. Conspiracy theory. So if you look at and blow that up, I think it's right here, and you can go look at each of these articles. There's tons of articles all talking about a bizarre, unhinged, pro-Trump conspiracy theory. Cueanon, a Pizzagate-style conspiracy theory. Just all kinds of articles talking bad about Roseanne because she was tweeting about Cueanon. I showed you those on yesterday's post that I posted. So you'll see that. Here's this article here. I brought it up so you can see it a little bit better. But you can see Roseanne keeps promoting Cueanon and the pro-Trump conspiracy theory that makes pizza look tame. Pizzagate looked tame. So obviously they just attacked Pizzagate. Anybody who talked about Pizzagate, they just got attacked like mad to make it to where everybody had to stay away from it. And literally the deep state came down so hard on everybody. Now they're trying to relate that QAnon to Pizzagate, which is crazy. It just shows that the deep state's scared of QAnon now. They're scared of Pizzagate. They're scared of QAnon. And that's why they're attacking these so hard. But so interesting that they had a good laugh. So basically, the probably NSA and military intelligence, this little group of QAnon people in the military intelligence most likely, were laughing, maybe even with Trump, about the fact that they're trying to make out this could be a conspiracy theory. So the media is in this mockingbird lying state that they always are, and this is just another example of that. You probably saw, I also put in my notes last time, the narratives with the media, like hundreds of them with the exact same phrasing and same full paragraphs being read by different people with different emphasis, right? Showing that they're just reading off of cards, not even reporting news the way they want to, but the way the deep state wants them based on the 4 a.m. talking points that we've talked about quite a bit here, right? Now here's another picture here, and this comes back to an earlier post where he said, HRC 21209. I did some analysis on 1212 versus 212. So if they go back and look at 212, you'll see that there literally was a murder here. I guess a plane crash, which most people think's a murder of about 50 people on this plane, because this woman right here named Beverly Eckert was actually, if you blow that up, here it is, and she was actually, and I'll do it here so that I can actually show it over here without having to get my face in the way, but my husband was killed during the 9/11 attacks. I rejected $1.8 million from the government and filed a lawsuit against them instead. I was a loudmouth and a well-known figure in the 9/11 truth movement. Coincidentally, days after meeting President Obama, I died in a plane crash. Sad stuff, guys, but this somehow must be linked to HRC, Hillary Rodham Clinton. Now, how that is, I did some research and couldn't really find it. So there's a lot of other better anons, better decoders that are probably going to give a lot more information here over the next day or so as they dig into this. But obviously, he said this is right. QAnon says the timestamp is key, Q. And since this happened on 12/9, as we dig into it, you'll see here's the murder of Beverly Flight Part 1. I went and looked at it in more detail. It was on 12/9. I mean 2909. I mean 2/12/09, just like this says, is when the plane crash happened. So sad that this woman was likely killed because she was getting close as she dug into really finding out who the murder, what happened at 9/11. And here's pictures of the airplane crash, and it looked like it was definitely foul play. It wasn't the ice that they purported it to be, and there's FBI people on the case. So I'll post this article, and you can look at it yourself. A lot of details about why they feel this is a murder, and basically they took down this plane versus it being a legitimate ice problem like they reported on. So that's that article, and so that's I guess the third post we have here. Going to the fourth post real quick. You take this. This is the same article I showed you yesterday with Breitbart talking about Huber and being the special counselor, and it says why was this made public? John Huber appointed by who? And the answer to that was Obama. Removed by actually Sessions. If you go back and look, here's a John Huber, Utah attorney that came out here just recently. Talks in detail about him, and it talks about how he was actually an Obama appointee. But you'll see the Justice Department Sessions asked for resignations for 46 of the attorneys that were previous administration holdovers. And so he was appointed in 2015, Huber was. But then Donald Trump renominated Huber in June 2017. 2 months later, Huber was back in the post. And he's been looking at this whole FISA abuse problem since November of 2017. So interesting. So that's the answer to these questions that he's asking. So he's asking, why was the public, and I'll blow this up so you guys can read it better. Why was this made public? Well, I think obviously because he's about ready to drop a bunch of information that Huber finds, right? And who was he appointed by? That was Obama. So then it shows that this is not partisan. This is not some witch hunt or like the other one is, right? And it's actually objective. Hey, Lucy, you and Marcia, good to see you. Great Q jobs, yeah. So here you'll see reappointed by, and that actually was Trump. Why the reboot? And so I think it had something. I'm not sure why they had to reboot it, but I think they did a clean house of all of them, and he brought back ones that he felt would be somebody that they could show that was honest and would actually do their job and would actually take down, was interested in taking down the criminals, but wouldn't be seen as partisan. So I think that's why they brought Huber back, and that's why they you combine him with the IG, you got just as much power of a second counsel does, and you don't have to start from scratch because of all this work they've already done all the way since November, December, January, February, March. And so they've done a lot of work already. So they don't need a second counsel right at this point in time for the specific drops they're going to make here soon. Think logically and in the history books. Basically, it's going to be in the history books because it's a nonpartisan attack, and all this stuff's going to be happening, the Great Awakening, right? Here we go. Now, if we look at this next drop, this was on a little bit later. Again, it comes down to this article on Breitbart, same article, same stuff here, but then he talks about what is Sessions specifically recused from. He's got a post here that goes to this, talking about confidentiality and media contact policy. So I'm not exactly sure why he's posting to this. Then he says, watch the EOs. So now we know on December 21st, there was a huge EO on confiscating the property of anybody with human rights abuses, actually declaring a national emergency. Very important executive order. There's other ones that talked about him. He can use the omnibus bill for military tribunals. He can, we funded Gitmo. There's all kinds of things, but that he's doing with these executive orders. So again, what was Sessions specifically recused from? I think if you really go look into it, and there's going to, I'm sure, be more detail that'll come out later, is that it's actually going to show that that it's very tight. It's just the basically Russian collusion with Trump campaign is kind of the major emphasis there. Everything else, Sessions not recused from, right? And I think that's behind the scenes what he's alluding to, and all these executive orders that are coming together with all the unsealed indictments, which I'll show you here in a second, the latest count of those. So now here you go. If you look at April 2nd here, There's 3 A's here. It's always AAA. What exactly that means, I'm not sure. But you have April, an IG report's going to come out. Now, we were expecting the Department of Homeland Security in May, but I heard it got obviously pushed to April. In March and got pushed to April. But it looks like the IG report is going to come out this month. Sessions' public attack is actually going to happen. That's exciting, guys. Everybody's been waiting for this, right? Because now we're seeing all the unearthing of all this corruption. Now Sessions going to get, and I don't know if it means he's going to be public attacked or I think it's Sessions attacking here. Rod Rosenstein problem. So now they're going to really show that Rod Rosenstein is corrupt as well. We all know that anyway, but now it's going to be seen. And then it says seals broken. Look at that. Home run. Seals broken. So it looks like the seals off these indictments, at least some of them, are going to start coming off in April, right? And there's actually going to be some arrests in April. Now, don't get your hopes up. I think it's going to be the summer before we get the big guys, right? But I think some of them are going to start to happen here. Why was Huber made public, right? And I think it's because of this what we're talking about. Drops are coming. Why now? Everything has meaning. So basically, all these drops are going to start happening. The Awan drops, really detail about the Awan brothers, who were the corrupt IT people from the Democrats. We just had that drop today, actually. Let me see if I can find that real quick. I put a bunch of articles back here, and I think there it is, right here. This just came out a couple days ago. I think I might have shown to you this when it came out first. 44 dams, including Wasserman Schultz, exempted Pakistani IT aides, that's Awan, from background checks. The Awan brothers, right? So every one of the 44 House Democrats who hired Pakistan-born IT aide, who later allegedly made unauthorized access to congressional data, appears to have chosen to exempt them from background checks, according to congressional documents. Can you believe that? That's just crazy. So the corruption's being revealed right and left here. That's important to start waking up the public, because these are articles that are in the mainstream in general. The main media is running from them, and the media is running from that article right there. But at least it's starting to get in the mainstream. We can share it with our friends. Forward those things on Facebook. Forward them on your Twitter account. Make sure people see all the corruption. There's going to be, I think, drops on the tarmac, drops on the Iran deal, drops on North Korea about what's really happening there. Uranium One, we know all that stuff's coming out, right? The FBA leadership being corrupt, the corrupt elements of the DOJ. Now Mueller, that's interesting. So maybe there's even corrupt stuff going on Mueller. I was thinking I think he's this big distraction. They're going to deal with him, but I think it's the leaking of his corruption is going to come out. But he's already got to deal with Trump, I believe. Election integrity, immigration bill. So obviously we talked about the Department of Homeland Security report's going to come out. That's going to show some of that. So let me see. Can't hear you. I better start talking louder. Right? When it's at night, I often talk softer. So morning from Texas. I hear you fine. All right. Great Q drops. Great point. Let's see. C. Abel Danger. Phil McConnell. HRC is a patient to remote system to take down planes and or most engines. Oh, that would be wild stuff. Think JFK Jr. when she wanted to eliminate any competition to the Senate bid for New York. Now that would be crazy if Hillary and Clinton had the means to actually take down planes. But boy, would that be big stuff. And and so you're talking about JFK here, Wan, Lynch, Podesta, Moon, Mills, Palmieri, Washington, Schultz, grab them all. I agree with you, Stephen. So those are the comments I'm just reading here for those of you who may be new to YouTube. Now, immigration bill. Here is, obviously, again, I think all these are going to be border, wall, military start, big month. So I think this is talking about more that they're going to get an immigration bill passed. They're going to strengthen the border. They're going to build the wall. And they're going to actually have the military start to execute some of these military operations. Big month coming, which is interesting. Now let's go to the next few drops here. If you look here, we have on 989, you have again it's AAA again, same exact post, but now he talks about emphasizing more stuff. Facebook, Amazon, Twitter, Google. More drops coming on these guys, and big problems. So basically, Facebook, Amazon, Twitter, and Google have big problems. So Google/YouTube, we're on right now, right? Amazon, it's basically all the censorship and the illegal stuff they're doing to libertarians and conservatives. They're going to have big problems because they're going to be looking at all the other stuff they're doing. Did you see the Facebook stuff that came out that said they could actually, if your Facebook's open, they can actually listen to you whether you're in your bedroom or you're out in the mall or you're at your friend's house. They can actually listen and record you without you even knowing, just with your Facebook on your phone. That's just crazy sick stuff. Totally without our permission, right? 990. So all these drops are going to happen here. Now 990 basically says, I still follow your lead. Now this is an anon complaining basically. I still follow your lead all the way, relying more on the inquiry of those digging here. So that basically probably talking about all these brilliant 8chan people that are anons doing the research. And I haven't had the privy to read all that research for this because I want to get it out right away. But we'll find out more, I'm sure, as these smart people come with better interpretations than me. But March wasn't nearly as mad as what you sold us. Please don't build us up to break us down, Q. And Q basically said two letters, NK, saying April was huge. When you have the CIA in control and the deep state and the Illuminati in control of a madman wanting nuclear war, and that was going to be the leverage and against us and the hostage that they were going to use, and we actually cut those strings and actually have a deal for denuclearizing North Korea. Are you kidding me? That's a big month. So I think that's the point that he's trying to make there, right? I told my kids I don't like the Alexa system. I hear you. I got one for Christmas. Have not plugged it in. I won't plug it in because I know it's listening to us. The Alexa, right? North Korea was huge. You're exactly right, Marissa. So here we go. Couple more here we'll go over, and then we're almost done. There's like 4 more. Here we go on the basic tippy top shape. It was requested. Did you listen today, Q? So this is basically just some terminology that Trump has used on talking about nuclear weapons being in tippy top shape, and he used it today. I think it was earlier today on a video. If you go see about the Easter, might have been yesterday, where he basically was talking about the White House, and he talked about the White House being in tippy-top shape. So here Q is obviously very aware of the most recent events of the president, and obviously he is acknowledging that right there. Now here are 9. So because he's talking about today, I believe that was in the video that came out with Trump at the White House. Okay, here we are on 992. WWG1WGA. Let me know if you think you know exactly what that is. But it's basically drops are going to go fast. The White House clean signature. I think that's really Bolton cleaning house. Marker. Everything is planned. So basically those markers of these stages being set. Now they're going to start doing these things exactly like they planned. It's going to take years. I think it's saying that it's been planned for years and it's going to take years to clean it up. Message, unity, awakening, we fight, lexicon, concord, stay together, Q. Basically just saying, just like in these old battles and these old, we stay together, awaken, come together, stay together, right? So anybody know what the WWG1WGA? Didn't have time to look that one up at all. So here we are on here. Yeah, I like it, Marissa. Here, where we go one, we go all. He didn't have a heart attack. Talking about something about I'm not sure what you're talking about there. President used the same phrase in Easter egg hunt speech as he did with the nuclear weapons. Exactly right. Okay, now here we are. The last 2 here. Again, he repeated this whole thing and then basically said, follow Bolton. That's the title I put up here, follow Bolton. No, it crashed again. I'm going to put it in here. So follow Bolton. You need to figure out a way to turn off the sleeping of this. I'll get that one of these times. But basically follow Bolton, right? Here we go. And so he's going to clean the White House, all the Obama holdovers, all that type of deep state's going to be cleaned out of there. That's going to be a major stage when that's done because they'll be able to execute much better and learn how to archive offline, talking imagine about all our posts here. The streets will not be safe for them. I think they're talking about the deep state because over here in the last post, he's basically saying, post this same thing again here, and then he says, operators on site, deep, safe, Q. So I think he's basically saying it's going to be safe for us. The operators are on site. So again, I didn't have a lot of time to decipher all this stuff. You guys can let me know what you think. But to tell you what, exciting things here. Let me take you through a little bit more news that's kind of exciting. I talked to you about Huber. Here we've got another couple pictures of Beverly Eckert, who was the 9/11 mom. I thought this was kind of interesting, where she about that 9/11 commission report. She was very active and pushing to really showing that 9/11 was fishy. There was something problem here, and it was probably a deep state operation to bring us into war so the Rothschilds could make money funding both sides of the war. It's terrible stuff that our history, that all these drops are going to actually start to show how corrupt we were, and that this woman was right. Her husband was killed in the 9/11 attacks. She was most likely murdered because she was getting too close to the truth. Scary, scary stuff. Here's the, I'll link this in there. This is the White House tippy-top shape comment that he made. That was actually today. It was today. And that was the Easter at the White House. Okay. I was looking at some more tippy-top stuff here. Here, I thought this was interesting that this was basically an article way back from June 2017 talking about Comey provided false testimony on Jeff Sessions when I was researching a recusal. I thought that was interesting, and that he had reports, and he said he got it all from the public. I remember that. So that was just kind of an interesting flashback of more lies from Comey. Jeff Sessions, recusal. Here's some stuff. It says follow the EOs. That you can go to whitehouse.gov, go to presidential actions, and you can see everything he's done. Even today, he did a couple of things. Like right here, he proclaimed April 2nd as the World Autism Awareness Day. It's a great site to follow. Also, Sexual Awareness and Prevention Month. He put as the April 2018. And so we know that has to do with the human trafficking, etc. So Trump is very active almost every day on this. Here's March 30th, a second chance month. I'm not sure exactly what that is, but as you go through this, it's just a great place. And he says, keep up with the EOs. I think there's going to be new EOs coming out that are even going to have something to do with all these drops and the authority of being able to use military tribunals, etc. I think it's a lot of that, right? Troy, yep, new Q drop. Got 12 of them we just reviewed, and then here we have we went over that with Debbie Wasserman Schultz. The last thing I want to show you is here's the sealed indictments. This is updated. I think it's Storm somebody on Twitter that we found this. I know that that Destroying the Illusion just did a whole video on this if you want to go look in more detail about this. But look at this. This person literally looked through like all 5 months here. Starting with 1030, basically November, December, January, February, March, in close to 1 month each. And then he added up going through all these areas, finding the sealed indictments, right? And I actually took a picture of this so that it would be easier for me to find. So let me bring this up and blow this up. But you can see that adds up to, if you can look over this right here, the first batch was 4,188, and it went to 5,100, and 4,300, and 4,900, and 6,000. Since they did it last, 6,000 from 331 to 3. That's in just in March. So March was huge from 6,034 more sealed indictments hitting. This is going to be a huge arrest clean house whenever they start executing these. There's no way they're going to be able to do these in a matter of just weeks. I would guess. I guess it's going to take months to go and execute indictments for 24,544 people. So it's quite exciting times, guys. It's late here, so I am going to have to wrap it up. But let me just talk a little bit, just wrap up where we were. So now we had 12 posts from Q. I'll show poor Troy who didn't get to see these yet. But if you just go to Cueanon.pub, you can see them. Go back here all the way to the beginning, Q, and you'll see if I shrink down. He had 12 new posts today. Right, so there's the 3 that we just went over, then the 3, then the 3, so 12 new posts that came out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, I just want to make sure there wasn't any more. Let me refresh one more time to make sure Q has not posted anything else because he was hot there for a while, posting every 3 or 4 minutes. Fall Bolton, yep. So we're caught up, guys. So here we are. April 2nd, QAnon drops. Murder probably of this poor gal here that I have a picture of. Her name was Becky Elkin, I think it was. That was a 9/11 survivor. Here it is, the article I'll post about the murder of Beverly Eckert, about her flight being taken down on that date that he talked about with Hillary Rodham Clinton having something to do with, which was HRC 21209. That's when the plane was taken down. And somebody's saying on the board that HRC has something to do with taking the planes down, which would be just kind of crazy. So anyway, that's kind of the summary of where we are. And again, follow Bolton. He's going to be cleaning house, and drops are going to be coming. It's going to be a fun April. This could be the time when we actually start seeing arrests. I think that's exactly what Q's telling us. God bless you guys. Can't wait to see you at a later time.